Hello everyone, welcome to this week's GT Sport Daily Race C Strategy Guide, where we are taking Group 3 machinery around the Nürburgring Nordschleife 24-hour layout. So let's take a look at the settings for this one. Not the greatest of settings, I've got to say. We have got 2 laps to get round, fuel consumption at ×2, tyre wear at ×5, and we've only got the racing hard tyre available, unfortunately. So strategy straight off the bat looks extremely limited for this one. However, let's take a look at the circuit we're going to be visiting. Fearsome Nürburgring 24-hour layout, combining the Nürburgring GP track with the Nordschleife, 25.378 kilometres, 89 corners, longest straight over 2 kilometres at 2.135, and the GT3 lap record is 8 minutes 09.1, I believe, set in 2018 in a Porsche. So we're not going to beat about the bush in this one. It's going to be a very quick strategy guide. There's not really a whole lot to discuss in this one. It really boils down to, are you going to make a pit stop or are you not? So let's first up take a look at the pit stop, see what kind of loss it incurs, and that will give us an idea as to whether it's going to be worth our while doing so. So we've synchronised up a pit stop with a non-pit stop here at the exact same part of the track. I had to get a bit creative here using a custom race and some lobby footage, but it will actually give us an idea just how much time you're going to lose in the pits. I think the pit stop is 4.8 seconds, the pit time is 13.3 seconds I do believe, and that all boils down to a loss of around about 7.6 seconds on the track. So straight away that's looking like quite an insurmountable amount of time to overcome with the fresh tyres. Remember, the tyre wear only been at ×5. So the next thing we'll look at is how the tyre is going to look towards the end of the race on both strategies. So here we've got the pit stop on the left hand side, the no pit stop on the right hand side. Tyre wear you would expect to be a lot lower, of course. For the pit stop it's around about 5%. With the non-pit stop it's around about 10 or 15%, or between 10 and 15%. I always say with the hard tyres, the tyres have to wear around about 20% before you start losing a significant amount of time. These kind of metrics we're looking at here is taking down the very long straight towards the end of the lap, so only a few corners to go before we finish. And again, all the evidence is pointing towards one conclusion, and that is that the no stop is the superior strategy for this one. It will come as no surprise to most people, I think, who already have got some experience in the game, but for any new players out there, you might be wondering. I did think it was worthwhile making the video just to cover it, so that any new players out there who may not be aware of how this race usually unfolds, that the no stop will be the better strategy. In the end, it's around about 5 seconds quicker. The fresh tyres on the second lap with the pit stop will start to come into play towards the very end of the race. You will get a few seconds back purely through them, but with a 7.6 second pit loss, gaining a couple of seconds back is nowhere near going to be enough to make up that deficit. And then throw in the fact that it's extremely difficult to overtake on the Nordschleife part of the track. Track position is definitely king here. It's a very narrow track. Trying to make an overtake is almost impossible without some real compliance from the other driver, unless you get to that very end straight at the end, by which time the race is almost over. So yeah, the no stop strategy is the way to go. The tyre wear is nowhere near enough to make a pit stop beneficial for new tyres. We haven't even touched on fuel. Fuel's only at ×2. Absolutely zero issues with the fuel. I think the fuel's probably good enough to do around about 4.5 laps. So that's pretty much it for this one. Do be careful on the opening lap with the hard tyres. The Nürburgring 24-hour layout seems to be a lot more slippy than the Grand Prix track, so do be careful of that when you first venture into this one. You will soon learn that pretty quickly. But that's pretty much this strategy guide wrapped up. The track is way too long for me to do a lap guide, so if you're looking for that towards the end of the video, sorry to disappoint you. This race could have been a lot better, I think, with some slightly better settings. We could maybe had the medium tyres, maybe tyre wear bumped up a little bit, fuel thrown in. We could have had a much more interesting race than this, but as it is, it's just a plain old no stop sprint. Do enjoy it if you're going to compete in it, but that's pretty much this one wrapped up. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you on the next one. Goodbye now.